Welcome to Bravo Company Digital. We're a digital marketing agency that helps businesses grow. If you're a business owner looking for growth, looking for lead flow, looking to set up a system that is evergreen so it produces leads, rain or shine. And if you're looking to outsource that solution so you don't have to manage it on a day-to-day basis, we might be a good fit. That's exactly what we do. We build a lead generation system that allows you to have predictable growth. And I'll explain the system in this video. It's nothing too complicated, but it's a system that we've developed over the last 4 years that is great for outbound marketing and brings in consistent leads. So if you're a company that wants to generate 10 to 20 qualified sales meetings or sales appointments monthly, we could be a good fit. If you want to automate outbound marketing so you don't have to manage it and worry about it on a daily basis, we might be a good fit. If you want us to book the meetings, book the appointments, and you go close them, or someone on your team goes and close them, we might be a good fit. And if you want to get more time back, trying to identify your ideal customer profile or your potential leads and then executing outbound marketing for those leads can be a huge time suck. So if you want to reclaim your client time, we could be a good fit. We've got room right now to take on a couple additional clients. So if this sounds like something you might be interested in, reach out to us today. It starts with a strategy discussion over Zoom so we can get to know your business. You can get to know better what we can do. So this is what I'm going to go over right now is our solution, our timeline, pricing, some success stories, some frequently asked questions, and then who our ideal client would be. But first, who am I? John Plumstead. First and foremost, I'm a dad to 4 awesome sons. We live down in Tampa, Florida. I married my high school sweetheart. We've been together a long time. She's awesome. Definitely the rock of our family. Spent a lot of time in the military. I went to undergrad at West Point at the United States Military Academy, played football there, and then served in a bunch of places all around the Army. I was in the schoolhouse, served overseas, was a field artillery officer, platoon leader, eventually went and got a master's degree on the Army's dime, and then went back and taught sport and performance psychology at West Point, which was a really good experience. But that whole time I was buying real estate on the side, had a bunch of we'll call them side hustles, side businesses. The whole time I was in the military. I think I served 14 years of active duty. So it was a good run, but after 14 years, I had enough and was ready to get out and became a full-time real estate investor. During that time, as a full-time real estate investor, we flipped and wholesaled like 200 houses across the Southeast, and then got into storage facilities. So we own 10 storage facilities across the Southeast, but since interest rates went up, buying and selling storage facilities right now is very difficult. So we looked at the market and we said, where do we want to focus our time and energy while the real estate market is really slow? And after talking to a bunch of business owners, it became clear what we are good at is outbound marketing. We're good at taking a bunch of leads, reaching out to those leads in a systematic way, and hopefully a high value way and an inexpensive way, oftentimes using offshore talent in Pakistan and the Philippines and Central America to reach out to those leads at scale, convert those into appointments, and create a very profitable sales funnel. That's what we're good at. We had multiple businesses come to us and say, can you help us with that? And once we started doing that, we realized, hey, we have a business. So we've got clients. We're still very small though. So we're kind of just getting this started, but it's been exciting, and it's exciting to see the businesses that we're working with see growth as well. Okay, so what should you expect? What is our system? How do we generate 10 to 20 additional qualified sales meetings every month? Okay. Like I said, it's simple, but it's not easy. We start with coming up with leads. We can get the leads from Google Maps. We can also get them from LinkedIn. We can get them from other data aggregators, but we get leads, and then we have to ask ourselves, how do we reach out to those leads? We mainly reach out to those leads through email and cold calling. My 3 tenets for sales and marketing are you have to work hard, you have to work smart, and you have to stay organized. So how do you work hard? You send a large volume of emails and you do a large volume of cold calling. You have to put in the work to get the results. Okay. How do you work smart? You ask yourself, what is your email copy? What is your technical specs of the emails that you're sending? Are they landing in the inbox, and how can we continually make those better? For cold calling, we ask ourselves, what is our script? What online dialer are we using? Are we using a single line or a multi-line? Has that phone number gone bad? Is it showing up as scam likely, or one of those other iPhone tags that kill your number? That's how we work smart. And then how do we stay organized is we have a system that says every lead has a description, has a bucket that it goes into, and then it works through the funnel. And we use a CRM. Pipedrive is usually what we use just because it's the most cost-effective way. But so we reach out to all these leads. Okay. 97% of the leads are not ready to buy whatever we're selling. Only 3% are ready to buy. So it's our job to find those 3%, deliver a compelling message to those 3%, and try to set up appointments with those 3%. But then you ask yourself, what about the other 97%? What do we do with those leads? Well, that's where organization comes in, is we have to strategically reach back out to those leads because they're all going to change their mind eventually, right? I used to have a first sergeant in the Army. I was in recruiting for a while. So first sergeant recruiter used to say, everyone has a life-changing event every 90 days. So we're going to contact them every 45. And that's what I like to live by when it comes to nurturing leads. If someone says, no, I'm happy with my current solution, we say, okay, we put them in a bucket in our CRM that says we are going to check in with them 30 days from now. We're going to continue checking in every 30 days to see when that 97% becomes the 3%. And we do that, like I said, through that CRM. And then I like to talk about sales professionals is even the best sales professional on their bad day, they're lazy and they're disorganized. So our whole system is about getting talented people, but then understanding that even talented sales professionals will be lazy and they will be disorganized. So we try to use active management and leadership to empower people to work their butts off on a daily basis. Some people might call that micromanagement. We would say, hey, the culture within our company is you have to put the work in. So hopefully that avoids people being lazy. And then at the same time, we inspect our CRMs and say, does every lead have a description? Is every lead in a bucket to make sure we're staying organized? And then this depiction here basically just shows how leads flow through our system, with the big thing being nurturing leads. 97% of the people are going to say, hey, we're not interested today. But then the true beauty of an evergreen system is continuing to reach out to those people in a very consistent way. So when they turn from the 97% to the 3% that are ready to buy, we can put our message in front of them. So what you expect timeline wise, the first month is all about email setup and hiring dedicated callers. So it takes the day you sign up, we will get emails for you. And what we do, if your email is Amazon.com, we buy dummy domains like goamazon.com, buyamazon.com, right? So we buy those domains and then we set up John at buyamazon.com, Phil at buyamazon.com, Steve at buyamazon.com. So we get the domains and then we get those email addresses. And then we have to do some technical stuff to the DNS records to make sure they're landing in the inbox. And then we send and receive emails for 14 days to warm up those email addresses. So before we can actually market with those email addresses, we have to get it set up. That takes us at minimum 14 days. The other thing we do is if we're going to have a cold caller, warm caller on your account, where you're going to hire those that offshore talent, those virtual assistants in the Philippines or Pakistan or Central America, whatever makes the most sense for our business, for your business at that time. We're going to hire those people, get them on board, start getting them trained. So maybe we get some leads the first month, but think of the first month as all set up. Month 2 and 3 is where we start iterating and refining our messages in the inbox, our messages in the email, and then our cold call script as well. We start refining all those things. Hopefully we start getting some results, but then really by month 4 is when we should have the system completely set up. Hopefully it's producing at that time. And all this is a big back and forth between us and you, the business owner, to be like, hey, what is working? What is not? What is a good appointment? What's a bad appointment? How can we adjust things here and there? But we tell people we're not going to be a good fit unless you can commit to 6 months. Everything we do is on a month-to-month basis. So if you're not happy with what we're doing and you don't think we're delivering the results we promise, you can fire us at any time. But we'd prefer if mentally going into this, you said, hey, I'm going to give it 6 months. I'm committed to 6 months because we're confident we can get you results in those 6 months. So pricing depends what you want. If you just want cold email, we start at $1,000 a month. If you want warm and cold calling and a dedicated virtual assistant on that, that starts at $3,000, right? And then we can also do social media management. We can do Google reviews. We don't buy Google reviews or pay people for Google reviews, but what we'll do is if you give us your past and current customer list, we will reach out to them, ask some questions about their experience. And if they had a good experience, we will ask them to leave a Google review so we can really drive that. We can also do a website audit to help you turn your website into a sales funnel. Too many people have a good looking website, but it doesn't actually drive sales. It's just a brochure for their business. And what we want to do is take that website and make it a sales funnel. So people go to your website and then convert into customers. And then revenue consulting as well. As you look at growth in your business and how you're looking at revenue, we can go through all that. So starts at 1,000. If you want a dedicated virtual assistant, it starts at 3,000. Our average customer right now is paying $5,000 a month, but we can ebb and flow depending on what the needs and goals of your businesses are. So success stories. How did we start with this? We started as flippers and wholesalers of single family houses, single family renters. We had a thesis that out-of-state landlords would be willing to sell their house more so than the average homeowner. So we would pull out-of-state landlord list of homeowners, and then we would reach out to them with text message and cold call. And it worked. The thesis was true. So once we started getting some traction with that, we grew it with pulling more lists, getting more virtual assistants. And at our biggest, we had 25 cold callers calling, thousands of homeowners throughout the Southeast, asking them if they wanted to sell their home. We did right around 200 houses throughout the Southeast over about a 2-year time period. It was good, but flipping and wholesaling houses is a very difficult way to make a living, and it wasn't what we wanted to continue doing. So we adjusted and went into storage, as I said. And then we used all these tactics to try to find off-market storage deals as well. And we currently own 10 storage facilities. We've used this system now in commercial cleaning to help commercial cleaning companies grow, commercial landscaping to help them grow. We've worked with e-commerce companies, defense contracting companies, and software companies. So as long as it's a business-to-business company, there's a good chance that we can find something that works. The other thing is it's not as good for startups, although we can do some testing. It's going to be better if you're an established business. And it's also going to be better if whatever you're selling, the lifetime value of that customer, like it's going to be difficult to make a sales funnel if you're selling a trinket for $10. I can't believe a business to business would be doing that. But the bottom line is the ticket that you have to be selling should probably be, lifetime value, 5,000, 10,000 plus type range. Okay. Some frequently asked questions. Is Bravo Company Digital's approach right for my business? I would say if you're looking to grow, if you want to outsource the marketing aspect of getting leads and setting up appointments, I think we can be a really good fit. And as long as you're doing business to business type activities, are increases in leads and client acquisition guaranteed with Bravo Company Digital? We can't guarantee you'll close anything. We can guarantee we will reach out to the leads and we're going to put the work in. Okay. So we're going to send the emails, we're going to do the phone calls, and we're going to do the system that works. So if it's not working, what's the problem? It could be your offer isn't good. What you are offering is not converting. So then we'll talk to you about how can we adjust the offer. It could be that, who you or whoever's doing your sales meetings are having a real issue closing them. We be able to look at the data and say, hey, we need to do some sales training, or we need to look at how we're executing that. So we can't guarantee that you're going to be able to close deals, but we can guarantee that we're going to execute the system. Then we're going to put your offer in front of a ton of people, and we'll see what the market tells us in return. If you have a good offer and if you have a good business that's been successful, I'm confident that we're going to be able to get you leads and get you appointments. But ultimately, that's going to be on you to close said appointments. What are my options if I'm not satisfied with the results from Bravo Company Digital? If you're not happy, you can fire us at any time. Hopefully, there's some communication and we can go back and forth about what's going well and what's not going well. But ultimately, we don't have any long-term contracts. If you're not happy with us, you can fire us. How quickly can I expect to see results? Best case within that first month, although that's probably unlikely. Maybe, we're going to start seeing results in month 2 and 3, but you're going to really be able to judge our business in months 4 through 6. Why choose Bravo Company digitally over other marketing and business development agencies? I think we're uniquely positioned. I think there's a lot of digital marketing agencies that focus on email, or there's some that will do cold calling for you. There's some that would do paid ads. There's some that would do SEO. There's very few with the background that we have that have put in the frontline work that we have, where I think a combination, the most cost-effective thing in marketing, online marketing right now, is email and cold call. The combination of email, cold call, email, warm call. So that means when someone replies to an email and then we call them, that's the best value you can get right now. And it's very difficult to do. So a lot of people aren't offering it. Why is it hard to do? Because we have to manage virtual assistants across the world, right? So we have to hire them, we have to train them, and then we have to manage them. And a lot of people think virtual assistants, you can just go hands off. Once they're hired, they're just going to execute exactly what you tell them to do. I would say, just like anyone, they need management and they need leadership. And we've got a ton of experience with that. And that's important. Okay. I also think because we're getting going here, our prices are very competitive. I think we have below market prices. So put those together. I think that's why we're the best bet for you. What do I need to contribute to ensure the success of our partnership with Bravo Company Digital? As we get going, there's going to be some back and forth. We'll have to get on some Zoom calls so we can better understand your offer and your brand. We'll help you, adjust that offer if need be. But then depending on how things are working, we're going to tell you like, hey, looking at your website, we think there's some big opportunities with your websites, or sometimes it's pricing, right? Like, hey, we are good. Like, you control your pricing. We're not going to tell you what to charge, but we want to let you know the market is telling us that when they go to your website, your prices are too high. So we're going to deliver that message. We're not trying to tell you to change your prices, but we are telling you that's what the market is telling us, right? Which I think that market feedback can be really good. We look at all that stuff, hopefully together in a partnership that says, we're only successful if you're successful. How can we work together to make this happen? So you're outsourcing it to us, but until we get that system set up and we're getting meetings and getting appointments for you, it needs to be a collaborative effort to make sure we're hitting the mark. What does Bravo Company Digital utilize, or how do we utilize offshore labor to benefit business? The bottom line is there's wonderful Americans. I'm a patriotic American, but a good cold caller in America is going to be $25 to $30 an hour. We can get a very similar offshore cold caller for somewhere between $5 and $10 an hour. So it's just because of kind of wage arbitrage and currency arbitrage, it's a better deal right now to go offshore. Okay. Like I said, I love Americans. I would love to have an American call center, but ultimately the value we can get offshore is just too good to ignore that. Hence why we've employed, 50 plus virtual assistants, and we've had, 4 or 5 of them with us for 4 years plus. Okay. So who's our ideal client? Someone doing business to business. Someone who's ready for growth, someone who has operations. If your operations can't handle growth, you have to take care of your operations before you come to us. You have to make sure your operations can take on some growth before we start putting some gas on the fire that is sales and marketing. Something like 30K per month in revenue. Again, we can work with startups. It's just going to look different. We're working with startups. It's testing the market and getting market feedback, where if you're 30K per month or larger in revenue, and ultimately that's a lot smaller than most of our clients, but we had to put some baseline. If you're 30K plus per month in revenue, that means you likely have a business model that's working, and we can build from there. So non-ideal clients is business to consumer. Business to consumer. We can do some of that, but ultimately pulling those lists are much more expensive. And then so we can do that. Okay. But B2C, you have to have a high priced ticket item, or else it's just not going to be profitable, because the data or the lists are going to be much more expensive. And we're going to have to reach out to them in much larger numbers. Startup, I already covered. And if you're resistant to change, if you don't want to change how you're doing marketing right now, and you've got a company that's you're stuck in your ways and you're not ready to experience some new things, it's probably not going to be a good fit. But if you want more leads, if you're a company ready for growth, if this makes sense to you, go to bravocompanydigital.com. Let's get on a call and let's get it done. Thanks. Appreciate you.